Yo, welcome to the ultimate Taylor Swift Midnight's tier list. Today, we're going to be ranking all of Taylor Swift's Midnight's album along with the 3 a.m. extension. Tremendous extension. Now, you might be asking yourselves, what exactly qualifies me to be ranking songs on Taylor Swift's album? I don't know. I mean, I guess for real, those people who are new to the channel, I'm a vocal coach. I've been one for probably close to 10 years now, actually. And I think it gives me somewhat of a unique perspective, just studying as much music as possible, especially focused on singing. I'm currently working on my master's in voice pedagogy, and I recently finished my certification course with complete vocal technique. So does that mean that I'm an expert? Well, yes. Just kidding. No, this is taste, right? Any sort of a tier list is always going to be taste based, but I'm going to discuss the rules with you guys. So here we've got the tier list. We've got all of Taylor Swift songs from Midnight's 3 a.m. and we've got a list, S being the best, D being the worst. I'm ranking these songs in terms of the album, right? So my favorites on the album. That doesn't mean this is like, if I put something as a D, that doesn't even necessarily mean it's a bad song, but it does mean that it's my least favorite song on the album. If you disagree with anything on this list, you're probably wrong. Let's go. Number 1, Lavender Haze. Lavender Haze is an easy S tier song. The absolute best part of the song is the chorus. I mean, everything together for me just totally works. It's such a beautiful album opener. The falsetto in the chorus is one of the most beautiful female falsetto vocal lines that I have heard in I don't even know how long. Taylor Swift has this way with airy vocals. I think that's really her specialty in a lot of ways, is these beautiful airy sounding vocals. And hearing that in her falsetto, which is already this light, sort of weak sounding way of using the voice, is just so good. Not to mention the build up into it, the climax, the rush that you get leading into this chorus. It just every single time hits me. I'm going to try not to play too much of the song so I don't get copyrighted. That being said, the thing that takes away from the song, in my opinion, I really dislike the songs that have any sort of a focus on this James Charles sounding vocal line where it's like her vocals pitched down. I don't know why. I just don't like that. That being said, Lavender Haze to me is so good that it overcomes that weird vocal line. It just sounds too much like James Charles. Hi, sisters! I'm sorry, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it, and then you're never going to like it again. Next, we're going to go in order here, and we've got Maroon. Now, Maroon for me is a tricky one because actually, I originally ranked it somewhere around a B, but it's been moving up in time for me. It's higher than a B, but the question is it so good as to be an S? And actually, the answer to that is yes. Although, to be honest, I could put it either an A or an S. No, it's not. I think it's an A tier song, mostly because the chorus first hits. I think it sounds really beautiful. I think the soundscape is wonderful. I just don't think that the song has the forward momentum that it needs to really keep me hooked into it the entire time. However, her vocals, as usual, sound amazing. I love hearing the falsetto in the chorus. I love the general vibe and the general aesthetic. I love these more ambient tracks with all these beautiful, like, flowy, picturesque synth lines. Lavender Haze was also sort of similar to that as well, but unfortunately the bridge as well, I feel like doesn't really have the drive that it needs to kick this into gear at an S tier song. Number 3, Antihero. Antihero, she also just recently released as a music video. It's a very, very catchy song with very, very honest lyrics, bordering on narcissism. But being honest about your narcissism is still honesty, and there's something very genuine and authentic about it, because I think a lot of us have these moments. I catch myself singing this song to myself all the time, humming it to myself all the time. I think it's super catchy. I love the 80s vibes. I love the beat, and I love, again, the almost ambient sounding synths in the back. I think the bridge is really, really clever. The way she uses her voice sort of in a very talky, sort of annoyed way. How she says, "It's me. Hi." I don't know. There's something that's cool about that, and this song is always stuck in my head. So obvious S tier on that. I could see an argument for A tier. I've gone a little bit back and forth on it myself, but I think ultimately it's stuck in my head so often I can't have it anywhere else. Oh boy, number 4 on Midnight's, Snow on the Beach, or really how I like to refer to it, Snore on the Beach. This was the most disappointing song on the entire album for me. It sounds like a washed up Christmas song. And I was looking forward to hearing Lana's voice, and it just wasn't there. I know a lot of people are going to like this song, and part of my judgment is just clouded by the fact that I was really looking forward to hearing Lana have a verse. I feel like the last time I heard Lana in like some sort of like collab like this was the Charlie's Angels thing, and I was like equally as disappointed by that, if not more so. But at least that one was fun. This one's a little bit too slow for me. It's just not it for me. Like, I understand that Lana's like singing in the background of a lot of the track, but why? Why put her in the background? Anyway, whatever. All right, next, number 5, You're On Your Own, Kid. This is one of my favorite songs. I think this song, up until the bridge, is a good song. I think once you hit the bridge and you have all that drive and that energy that leads into the final chorus, it is one of the best songs on the album. It's just so gorgeous. Like, it's like, it creates such a beautiful, beautiful picture. And a lot of the tracks on this album that are really able to create that picture in your mind of like just being washed over this wave of sounds and vocals, to me, those are some of the best songs on the album. And that's where a song like Snow on the Beach kind of just doesn't really go anywhere for me. It doesn't do it. Anyway, this song is so cool. And I even like the outro chord. You hear that? What is that? Like, what is that? Why would that be on a modern pop track? But it is, and it sounds great. 6, Midnight Rain. I'll come across some of these title tracks and I'll be like, which one is that again? And anytime I have that thought, I'm like, oh yeah, that song is not good. To me, Midnight Rain and Question, which are like one after the other, are just two of the most forgettable songs on the entire album. I could go into detail as to why I don't like them, but they just feel like they ramble. Like the problem with Midnight Rain is it has the fucking James Charles voice as the entire chorus, and I just cannot tolerate that. Taylor, please do better. I'd never want to hear this voice again. And Question to me is just like, it doesn't feel relatable to me. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I don't know how many people she's been kissing in crowded rooms and had her friends turn on her. And it just feels like it's a poem that went on for too long. Vigilante Sh. I think this is going to be a controversial one. I can definitely understand why a lot of people would have this in their S tier or even an A tier. But unfortunately, for me, it's just gonna have to go in a B tier. It's the lyrics for me, to be completely honest with you. Again, just to me, I don't relate. She has this line that's something like, I don't dress for women, I don't dress for men, I dress for revenge. I dress to go to the grocery store and try to afford my fucking groceries. Not to mention that this song just kind of, it's coming off the heels of Midnight Rain and Question. And the production between all three of these songs is kind of similar in terms of just like simple drum and a whoa, whoa, whoa sort of sounding bass line. It's a bit too droney, but overall it's going in the right direction. And I do like the attitude of it. I like Bad Girl Taylor. All I'm saying is ain't nobody's eyeliner sharp enough to do any damage to me. Bejeweled though. We get out of the sludge of the Snow on the Beach, Midnight Rain, Question, sort of bleh. And then we come out of it with this jewel of Bejeweled, which for me is just, it can't go anywhere except for an S tier. Bejeweled is definitely one of the songs of the album. It is so catchy. I love the little nice. I love how she uses her voice throughout this. It's so strange because it's such a catchy pop track, but she uses her voice in such weird ways. Like she's almost like half talking throughout it. And when I say talking, I don't mean like talking on pitch. She's talking off of the pitch. She's doing weird effects with her vocals that you don't really notice until you've listened to it a few times. And she's constantly playing with the melody of the song. What's a girl gotta do? A diamond's gotta shine. Like the what's a girl gotta do? Like it's not even really a melody. She's just kind of like saying things, but it still works. And she also has these really beautiful ways of accenting certain lyrics and sections with adding air to her vocals, and she just does so many wonderful things along with such a great produced track, such a great, like the synth, it becomes a character of its own in this track, and I really like that. I also find myself going around the house and saying nice to so many things now. Anyway, I don't think there needs to be much else said about Bejeweled. Number 10, Labyrinth. This is an interesting song for me. It is I love this song. The only thing about this song is it's so niche sometimes, and it's so like almost emotional in some ways that like it doesn't always fit. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to be in my feelings, and so it's like Labyrinth is like there for me when I need it, but when I don't need it, it's like please, Labyrinth, just next track. I can't do this right now. I think for that reason, I have to put it in an A. But I feel like it's an innovative track because we get that beautiful Taylor falsetto up there. And the outro of it is so wonderful as well. I love that like weird you know what? It can be an S tier. The outro is just so gorgeous in this. And I don't think it's appreciated enough. A lot of people just jump to the, you know, the hit singles, the catchy songs, the singable stuff. But there's something about Labyrinth that so many times that I've listened to it, it just puts me in a place emotionally where I feel so vulnerable and weak and like, Taylor, please just take me into your arms and save me. S tier. Karma. Oh my God. Karma. Bruh, I'm feeling like an idiot because every single one of these songs is becoming an S tier song. I love this song. I know a lot of people have criticized this song as being like too cheesy, but I'm sorry. That's the point of the song. Not to mention the bridge into chorus at the end. It just hits you in a way that fills you. It just fills you up. Right here with these beautiful falsetto high notes. Oh, it just does it for me every single time. It has such great transitions into this chorus. This chorus just fucking slaps every time it gets to it. And it's also true. I like it. I like the message of the song. I'm sorry. What can I say? There's so many things in my life lately where it's just like, I want to do something. I want to get back at this person. I want to do what's right in the world. But it's just one of these songs where it's just like reminds me, just don't do anything. Karma's my boyfriend. Karma's my cat. Karma's with me. It's on my side. Just do your thing, stay in your lane. I like the message. And also, why would you listen to Taylor Swift if you're not looking for cheesy pop music? That's what she does, and she does it really well. It's like going to a steak restaurant and being upset that the only thing on the menu is steak. Like, I'm sorry, but you went to the wrong restaurant. It's like going to Wendy's and being upset because they don't have a 5-course meal. Sir, this is a Wendy's. And then we get to Sweet Nothing. We just had a long period of really great songs. It's calming down a bit with Sweet Nothing. It's a little bit more chill. It's a very sweet song. It sometimes gets me in my feels a bit, but I find it to just be sort of a middle of the road track. It's sweet. It's nice. It's maybe the sort of thing that I would like to hear like in passing, I guess, if I'm like, you know, I'm trying to put myself into sort of a mood. I don't know. It's just too middle of the road. It's cheesy, but without the like drive and catchiness of Karma. It's also a little bit slow, so it's kind of like, doesn't go anywhere for me. Although her vocals sound amazing, and there's so many things that I think she does in the song that sound really, really, really wonderful from a vocal perspective. Like every single time she says sweet nothings, she does the sweet. The sweet has a little bit of vibrato. Nothings kind of fades away. Sweet nothing. And I think it just sounds so gorgeous in her voice. And we hear some trumpets on the track. I really wish that there was just more, like more trumpets, more instruments, more something to give this some energy, because it lacks energy. Then we have Mastermind, which I think is probably an S tier song in terms of like this is just Taylor Swift. This is just the sound of Taylor Swift. This is just what she does. This is who she is. Not to mention, like so many of these tracks, there's a lot of these tracks that I have ranked highly that I don't think would do so well if it weren't for their amazing bridges. And Mastermind is really one of those songs. It just has so much drive. It has so much pizzazz. I like it a lot. Yes, again, the lyrics are for me, a little bit cheesy. They scream 13-year-old girl that thinks that they're laying the traps for people, but maybe she does do that. I wouldn't put it past her, and I don't put it past her to think that she does do it. But most importantly is the drive. And I just love the layers that she has, again, bringing that wonderful falsetto, going now in unison with this lower, airier thing that she has going on in the chorus, and it's just so pretty. Plus, the one thing that has that really pushed me from going from an A to an S every single time I listen to the song, a lot of times I put it in the A tier, but it's in this bridge again where this is where my vocal coaching comes into perspective, where she's singing these high, I think they're high B4s, and she's doing it in a way that just is so quiet and so gorgeous, because you almost never hear this sound, especially because she's staying all the way up there in her chest voice, and it just sounds wonderful to me. Anyway, I like this song. Sometimes I want to put it in an A tier. You know what? We're going to put it in the A tier. Oh, I forgot you're on your own kid up there. Ooh, we move into now the 3 a.m. tracks, which have some of the weakest and also some of the best songs on the album. Right now, this is looking very S tier heavy. I promise you that's about to change. With The Great War, this song to me is a great mess. I don't know what it's about, and I don't really care to know what it's about. I don't like the war imagery. I don't like the war comparisons. I don't know what it is that she's trying to get at, but sister, ain't none of it comparable to a goddamn war. I don't like the synthetic trumpets that they bring in towards the end. I know I said earlier I did like the trumpets on Sweet Nothing, but ultimately I don't like synthetic instruments, and I don't know why she wouldn't just use real instruments. I don't like the sound of them. I don't like them. Use real instruments, please. I don't like when a real instrument is replaced with a synthetic instrument because the producer doesn't think we're going to be able to tell the difference. I can tell the difference, and I don't like it. I just think a lot of the things that I would have liked about the track get lost on me because of the war imagery. I don't like war imagery. I don't like war. I don't want to be thinking about war when I'm listening to Taylor Swift. So anyway, it's a personal thing for me, but it's not my thing. But the good thing about The Great War is that it leads into Bigger Than the Whole Sky, which is one of the best songs on the fucking album. Like, I'm not ranking these necessarily in order, but it's up there. I love this song. It makes me almost want to cry so many times that I've heard it. It just sounds so genuine. It sounds so real. Like, she's actually really internally upset about whatever the situation was that's over. Because I've had people in my life that were bigger than the whole sky, and it's something that you never want to lose. Coupled with, again, just her wonderful falsettos. Every single time they're on this album and some of these slow ambient tracks, it's so gorgeous. Plus the synth that like sort of does this echoey sound. It's just such a cool song. It's so sweet. It feels so real. The melody is so gorgeous. It's just such a great song from her. To me, it's very different from a lot of the stuff that she's ever done in the past, which is in a lot of ways pretty incredible. Almost every single song in S tier, aside from maybe Karma, is just so different from anything she's done before. It's a little bit astonishing to me that she's able to make so many good songs without really having ever done anything like it before. Which leads me to Paris. Paris, I think, has a lot of potential, or had a lot of potential to be a super catchy track. And in a lot of ways it is, but it just doesn't quite have the amounts of thought I think that Karma did to sort of take it to that next level of just being just a catchy track. The lyrics are cheesy, but they're not cheesy to me in a way that seems thought out. They're cheesy to me in a way that seems like she ran out of things to rhyme with the word Paris. There's nothing really about it that is like, oh, that was really cool. It's like, yeah, it could have been a good song. And that's really why I'm going to put it in a C. It could have been a good song, which leads me to High Infidelity. My girlfriend really likes this song, which concerns me, but for me, this song is just like, it just doesn't go anywhere. It's one of these songs like where I'm asked all of these questions and I don't know why I'm being asked them. I don't know where they're going, and I don't want to know.
I don't know what's going on, and I simply don't want to know.
It's too confusing. There's nothing vocally interesting. Again, the production is just way too simple. There's nothing for me to latch onto here. But you know what? It's not a bad song. I'll have to put it in a C as well. And the more I think about it, the less I like Paris. So there's some things here that are a little bit interchangeable for me. I don't like Paris. Just feels like it's a shell of a Taylor Swift song. Anyway, next we have Glitch, which I think is a pretty cool song. Like, I'm gonna be real. It's not. I'm putting it in B tier. It has some of the same problems that I think High Infidelity has, in that it's just there's not very much going on, especially in terms of the lyrics or the vocals. But I like that the track is a little bit interesting. Like, the production on it is a bit interesting. I like the concept. I like the bridge where it gets kind of silent for a little bit, except for a little bit of noise. And then glitch. I like that. I don't know why. It's not a bad track, but B, C, but it's better than The Great War. So you know what? It's a B. Would've, could've, should've, easy S tier. We just got out of a number of different fairly dry tracks in the 3 a.m. album, and would've, could've, should've is what the album needs in order to wake us up. I love how energetic the track is. I love the drums on the track, and I love this high note right here. There's so many great parts like that on the track, and I think it actually has the only real like high note that is kind of, I wouldn't say she's necessarily like belting here, but it has like the biggest climax in terms of like raw vocal power on the entire album. I don't really get tired of listening to the song. I think it maybe runs a little bit long. The entire song, I'm just waiting for it to get to this bridge. But otherwise, I think it's a really, really, really good track. And I love how she hits this note. I love how she sings "It Was Mine First." first. She sings like fur instead of was mine first. It doesn't get too big, and it keeps the poppy vibe, and it keeps that like anxiety, but it still climaxes, and I love it. Last song and least is Dear Reader. This song is not, I don't understand. This song is just disappointing to me. And there's a few times on this album where I have that feeling of like, it's like snow on the beach level disappointing, because we come out of Would've, Could've, Should've, one of the best songs on the album, arguably the best song on the album, with some of the best vocals, into just kind of a sleepy track that I don't even really remember. I remember Dear Reader, and it feels like, girl, you should have kept this in the drafts. This should have been kept in the goddamn journal. No one was meant to read this one. Not to mention the weird auto-tune effect that comes into play in the chorus, which I get she's probably doing it intentionally, but to me, it's just every single time I hear it, it's distracting. I'm like, why is there randomly so much auto-tune on this note? It's just a little bit distracting. If something is auto-tuned, I don't want to know about it. Unless it's like really, like Cher's like, do you believe in love after love? That's fine. But otherwise, if you're going to tune something, I don't want to hear an artifact, which is what it's called when it kind of skips like that. I don't want to hear that. Those are generally considered to be mistakes. She tries to pull it off as like it's an intentional thing. But to me, it just doesn't make sense because the track is so slow and has otherwise like fairly unprocessed or less processed vocals. It just comes out of nowhere. But yeah, this is the ultimate Taylor Swift Midnight's tier list. I have now been filming for over an hour. It is 4 a.m. and it is time for me to go to bed. But thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think I got wrong down in the comments below. Be nice, but just let me know what you think. I would love to know what your opinion is on the album. Obviously, I loved it. There's so many songs that I really, really, really like. And I think where the album gets mixed reception is going to be in some of these C and D tier songs that are sort of like confusing because there's so many great ones. To me, it's almost like if you look at the shape of this tier list, it's like a V shape where essentially either the song is good or it's bad with not much in between. Although overall, I love the album and do think it deserves all of the praise it's getting. At least that's my opinion and that's my view. But let me know what you think down below. You can even make your own little tier list in the comments. I think that would be super, super fun. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. But don't fight. Be sure you subscribe to the channel. Check me out over on TikTok. Support me over on Patreon, where you can actually watch me reacting to the entire Midnight's album. I have a version of it here on YouTube as well, but the original album reaction was over 2 hours long, and what I have on YouTube is only an hour. But yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.